Hey students, so today we are going to discuss the topic of fossils. Okay, what are fossils? Fossils are the preserved remains or traces of ancient organisms. They provide valuable insights into the history of life on Earth. Here's a breakdown of key points about fossils. So basically, we're saying that the fossils are the preserved remains, shapes, or traces of living things from a very long time ago. They basically act like history clues that tell us the story of ancient life on Earth. Okay? So, how are they formed? Fossils typically form when organisms are buried in sediment shortly after death. Over time, minerals in the sediment can replace organic material, creating a rock like structure. This process is known as fossilization. So, basically, when a plant or animal dies, it gets buried under a layer of mud or sand pretty quickly, okay? And over a long period, minerals slowly replace the organic parts, turning the remains into a rock like copy. This is called basically fossilization, okay? So the next one is importance of fossils. Okay. Fossils help scientists understand evolution, climate change, and the environment in which ancient organisms lived. They can also provide clues about extinction events and biodiversity through different geologist area. Overall, fossils are a crucial window into our planet's biological history, helping us piece together the story of life on Earth. Okay, so basically, they are saying that the fossils are incredibly important to scientists. Like, they help us understand how animals changed over time, which we can say evolution, what the weather used to be like, climate change, you can say, and why certain species went extinct. Okay, so the next one is types of fossils. Okay, we have two types of fossils, which is body fossils and trace fossils. So, body fossils. These are the actual remains of the organism, such as bones, teeth, shells, and leaves. Okay? Body fossils are like the actual hard part, like left behind, like bones, teeth, or shells. Okay? And trace fossils. Okay. These include imprints or evidence of behavior, such as footprints, burrows, or faces. So basically, clues showing how the animal behaved, like footprints, nest, or dinosaur poop. Okay, these are called trace fossils. Okay, the way an organism looks or acts is called a trait. Scientists use fossil to learn more about the trait of ancient organisms. A fossil of a body part, such as a tail or a wing, can tell you what an organism looked like. A fossil of an organism activity, such as burrow or a footprint, can tell you about the organism's behavior. Okay. So the next one is, here are three examples of fossils and the traits that you can observe from them. Okay. So so this is an fossil of an animal. Like, this fossil tells you that the animal had a spiral shaped shell. Okay. And this is a fossil of a plant. The fossil tells you that this plant had small leaves arranged in a branched pattern. Okay. And this is a fossil of an animal's footprint. Like, this fossil tell you that the animal could walk on land. Okay, so fossil basically gives you information about that animal, the condition in which that animal lived. Okay, okay, here we have some examples question. Okay, so this picture shows a fossil of an ancient animal called Canis dares, which went extinct over 10,000 years ago. Fossils of Canis dares have been found in North and South America. Okay, which traits did Canis dares have? Select the traits you can observe on the fossils. Yes, pointed teeth and four legs is a correct answer, because this is a fossil made entirely of bones. You can only pick traits that are preserved in the skeleton. Okay, so looking at the picture, you can clearly see the animal has sharp pointed teeth in its jaw, and stands on four legs. Okay, so this is a correct answer. Okay, so the next one is compare Canis dares to the following modern organism. Use the traits you can observe in each picture to fill out the table below. This is okay. Based on the table, which modern organisms share more traits with Canis dares? Arctic fox or Cape buffalo? Look at the fossil and then look at the picture, then you will answer. Yes, Arctic fox. Because when you look at the provided trait chart, which is this, okay, the Canis dares has yes for both pointed teeth and four legs. Okay, the Arctic fox has a dark brown forecoat, pointed teeth, and four legs. Okay, and the Cape buffalo has dark brown fur horns and four legs, but it lacks the sharp pointed predator teeth in the fossil. Okay, because the Arctic fox share more structural trait with the Canis dares fossil. Okay, so it is a correct choice. Okay. Okay, look at this picture. This is another fossil. Okay, this picture shows a fossil of an ancient animal called Millenia. An adult Millenia was over 2 meters long. Okay, which traits did Millenia have? Select the traits you can observe on the fossil. Okay, yes. Toes, front and back legs, a shell on its back, long, thin antenna. Yes, front and back legs, and a shell on its back. So, looking directly at the fossil photograph, you can observe a large, heavy dome shaped shell covering the animal's body. You can also clearly see the limb extending out from beneath the shell to support it. Okay? So, individual toes are not clearly defined on the fossil structure, and reptiles do not possess insect like antenna. Okay? Okay, student, this activity is your self-assessment. You have to do this and write your answer in the comment section. Okay? Okay, students, so the next topic is how to compare ages of fossil in a rock sequence. Okay. So, fossils are typically found in sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks usually form in layers. Over time, new layers are added on top of old layers in a series called a rock sequence. The layers in an undistributed rock sequence are in the same order as when they form. So, the deep layers are older than the shallow layers. Okay, so basically, sedimentary rocks build up in layers over time. New layers always settle on the top of older layers. Okay, so the key rule is that deep layers is equal to older fossils, like they were buried first. Okay, deep layer is equal to older fossils. Okay, the relative ages of fossils can be determined from their positions in an undisturbed rock sequence. Older fossils are usually in a deeper layers and younger fossils are usually in a shallow layers. So, as I have told you, the key rule, which is deep layers is equal to older fossils, like they were buried first, and the shallow layers, which means shallow means upper layer. Okay, so the shallow layers is equal to younger fossils, like they were buried later. Okay, so for example, this diagram shows fossils in undisturbed sedimentary rock sequence. Which of the following fossils is younger? Select more likely answer. Okay, feather or palm leaf. As a palm leaf is at the top layer, so it will be the youngest fossil. Okay, so the next one is which of the following fossil is older? Select the more likely answer. Okay, wood or ginkgo leaf. Yes, wood. Because we are looking for the older fossils, which means we need to look down into the deeper layer, which is this. Okay? And the ginkgo leaf is in the top layer. A small fragment of wood is visible down in the bottom layer because the wood is buried deeper than the ginkgo leaf. The wood fossil is older. Okay? So the next one is, which of the following fossil is older? Select the more likely. Yes. Wood or dinosaur footprint? Yes, wood. Because once again, we want to find the older fossil which sits in a deeper layer. The dinosaur footprint is located in the middle, which is orange layer, this one. Okay? And the piece of wood is trapped down in the bottommost layer. Since the wood is located below the footprints, the wood fossil is the older of the two. Okay? So the next one is, which one of the following fossil is youngest? Select the most likely answer. Okay. Coral, shark tooth, sea urchin. Yes, sea urchin. Because this question asks for the youngest fossils, meaning we must check the highest or shallow layer. Okay. So look at the rock sequence. You can see that the sea urchin is in the topmost layer. Okay, so the shark tooth is in the second layer and the coral pattern is at the very bottom. So because the sea urchin is at the topmost position, it represents the youngest fossils. Okay,